What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Chetty Bobby 1130.
My name is Tony, a.k.a. Friday the 14th.
And I'm going to go on and tell y'all right now, if you ain't got no big S&P merch, you need to go on and get it. I'm Hot Mike Chance.
Yeah, hit up this guy for that merch right now.
Hit it up.
Shameless
Hit it up.
plug.
Buy it.
We got new merch. We got a new merch drop on the way, too. Stay tuned. Shout out to my lady, Millie Bobby.
Yes.
Shout out, Mel.
What else we got, guys?
We got some new members to the set here.
Oh, shit.
We
That's
added
an upgrade.
yes, a definite upgrade to the fellas here, and a manager. We got Jimmy Hart out in front of them, and we got the Natural Disasters holding the straps because we are the tag team champions of the motherfucking world.
Hell yeah. And you know what? They've been in the gym since the last time you saw them. If you've noticed, the definition on Earthquake and Typhoon
is pronounced.
Hey, and Jimmy Hart's they've been jumping out the gym.
Yeah.
If you can't tell.
You don't want to fuck
It's
with
that
these
New
guys.
Year's resolution right there.
Yeah.
New Year, new us.
Yep.
And you know what? Don't even worry about why Jimmy Hart's wearing a Hulk Hogan jacket.
No.
They've all squashed the beefs.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy Hart is Switzerland. Okay.
Yep. He's the manager of all managers, and he just jumps ship to where the tag titles are held, and the greats have it.
They do have it. You
Even
know
with
what?
that fancy skullet John Tinton's rocking right there.
Yeah. R.I.P. John Tinta, legend.
Goat.
But shout out to the Natural Disasters and Jimmy Hart.
Yep.
Shout out to Trouble Spirits. Shout out to Revolution One Media.
Exactly.
We're back with episode 47.
40. Give us a player out there with the number 47.
Let's go to the Rolodex. John Lynch, solid defensive back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Would
Yes.
knock your head off your shoulders.
Yes, yeah, he had no fear whatsoever.
No
if you were a
fear.
receiver coming across the middle, you were decapitated.
It was over with. Dude, if it's one thing I like to do, it's watch old NFL highlights. And when I say old, I mean 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Before they made it to where you couldn't decapitate people.
Yeah.
And going back and watching those highlights and realizing what it's caused,
Yeah, the concussion protocol.
it's awful, man.
Yeah.
It's just like watching old WWE highlights of chair shots.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm assuming you were a big John Lynch fan, being a Atlanta Falcons fan at the time, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was a
But
nemesis.
I got another shout out for number 47.
Okay.
Shout out Ricky Steinhaus Jr., NASCAR racer.
okay, shout out to Ricky RSJ. Let's
Yeah.
go.
How do you say it?
That was a
Steinhaus?
deep dive. Shout out to
Something like
Karolinko.
that.
I
Where
think he
did you
played for
get
the
that
Jazz.
from?
I like NASCAR.
Ricky, but who do you know who Ricky
Where did
Steinhaus Jr. is?
I'm sure
How's
he's
my
won.
voice talking
I'm
like
sure
that?
he's won some stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Shout out to Ricky Stein. If we named episodes, that's what we would name this. Ricky Steinhaus.
There we go.
I want to know how long have you been a NASCAR?
Yeah, dude.
Where did I've known you? For
Never
this?
knew you was a
I'm
NASCAR
such
fan.
a NASCAR fan that I saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. win the 1999 Talladega race.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bam, he's pulling out the long
dude.
shots.
You think you know somebody, dude? He just
and-
pulls a caper on you.
Yeah.
And I think y'all two need to go to a NASCAR race.
Okay.
Don't be so aggressive.
Yeah.
But
You got that finger going
I will admit
like I'm
this
Vince
though.
McMahon.
My father, Kent Murphy, was
Shout
a
out.
huge Dale Earnhardt fan. Like where I have a shrine to Jason Voorhees and all
yeah.
that stuff at my house. Back in the day, my dad had a shrine to Dale Earnhardt. Raise hell, praise Dale.
oh, for sure.
I mean, all
Shout
the little
out to Just Time Little White.
yeah, I had all the little die-cast number 3 cars, even back to the old Wrangler days of the blue and yellow cars. That's what I'm pulling out on you right there.
It don't get better than Dale Earnhardt.
No.
It really don't.
Oh,
You
what
know,
about? Well, he was a fictional character, but Cole Trickle was also a great NASCAR name back in the day. from
Dick
days-
Trickle? He's
Dick
a real NASCAR driver.
Yeah,
right?
I'm thinking Cole Trickle was from Days of Thunder.
No, for sure. You said like fictional, yeah.
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
just related.
Dick Trickle was a real driver though, right?
I'm pretty sure Richard Trickle. Look it up. Can we look it up? Richard Trickle.
Oh, I remember the Kodiak car back in the day. You had like all the dip brands on NASCAR on the cars back in the day.
Kodiak. Is this still a thing? Is this
I
still
think so.
popping?
Kodiak. Is.
Are you still hitting the dip?
Oh yeah, Copenhagen.
Oh, yeah.
only. Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Makes me feel so good.
Richard
Sponsors.
Trickle.
Cut the
Rest in
check,
peace.
Copenhagen. A free
Okay,
shout out to
Dick
him.
Trickle was a real guy.
Rest in peace.
Why did you go by Dick? Oh, he died?
Yeah.
He's not
Why
Trickle
wouldn't you
anymore.
go by Dick if?
Oh,
if
of
your
course.
last name
Yeah.
was Trickle?
Well, it could probably, yeah. Richard Trickle, if your family that named you knew what they were doing,
Yeah.
people are going to think you had an STD your whole life because your dick's trickling.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dick Trickle, man.
Then you had the Wallace brothers out there, boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing.
Yep.
Didn't
I was a I was a Jeff Gordon fan.
Oh, you what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Of
hold
course
on.
you Chance, you
Hold
always
on.
against the grain.
You were a NASCAR guy, and you cheered on the California guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was the best racer out there? Until Jimmy Johnson came along.
Another California guy.
Hey.
Wow.
Chance
They're
like the
used to
mainstream
driving.
guys.
They're used to driving on the highways out there.
In a circle going left the whole time?
Yep. That's how it is in California.
Shout
Where did
out
we
to
get off on the NASCAR team?
Stay tuned, guys. Over the Top with Chad Tony's also going to have we're going to have an offshoot podcast where we talk about nothing but NASCAR.
Yeah.
There we go.
So get ready for that.
Woo.
I remember playing the NASCAR video game on PlayStation and it had Molly Hatchet. I'm flirting with the dance.
Was that NASCAR Heat or something like
Probably, yeah. I was horrible at racing games.
that? Yeah.
Yep.
Because I never could judge it and I'd always hit the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you couldn't go into the corners like full speed like you wanted to because it'd just take you straight up into the corner. So
Yeah.
it wasn't Mario Kart for me. That was my racing game of choice.
Yep.
Right. Well, you know what? To kind of slide over to another lane, Vince McMahon is shitting on women, apparently.
Literally.
What is happening?
Literally. We have to throw it out there. I mean, the news just broke. What is today? Saturday?
I think it happened
Tell them where it broke, though.
The Wall Street Journal,
Okay.
of all places.
Yeah.
This news story of Vince McMahon, of freaky Vince McMahon, evidently he's gotten...
That's not even freaky, but that's
Dude, he's
depraved. That's
Oh,
horrible.
I don't know if I guess you can say all the stuff he's done on there. If you want to, all you have to do
Allegedly.
is allegedly Google Vince McMahon lawsuit.
Scandal.
Jim Cornette has a whole episode on it that gets into pretty good detail of it. But you've read the
Most of it, yeah.
of the lawsuit. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Allegedly.
the allegations are not very good. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get Chris Benoit for at least 5 to 10 years, and then maybe after that they might forget about it. But yeah, if everything that they're talking about is true, it's going to be bad for him.
He's resigned from WWE and TKO again for the second time for the same reason. For the same reason.
I don't know what TKO is.
That's who bought okay. the WWE and everything.
Yep. So basically what happened was Vince McMahon had paid a woman that he was having sex with, and basically he was just paying her to just do whatever he said.
Yeah, pretty much. She didn't have a job description with the WWE. She was on staff to fulfill his needs.
And he was banging her out and then passing her around to John Laurinaitis.
Yeah, allegedly.
This is all alleged. This is all in,
allegedly.
It's all in the article.
Yes, yeah, it's
the
all in the
Wall Street
article.
Journal. So here's my thing: if it gets printed on WrestlingNews.net or something weird,
you
the
can't.
Wall Street Journal published this article.
Yes, in
So
full detail.
Yeah, so like they said that like there's a situation where him and John Laurinaitis, who John Laurinaitis is the brother of Animal.
Yes, if you don't
rest
know,
in peace,
and he was
Legion
in
of Doom.
charge of talent relations for WWE for a long time.
He's been a WWE exec for years. Well, apparently they were tag teaming this girl, and Vince shit on her.
Yeah, I guess Vince allegedly again.
All this is allegedly. Yeah.
Straddled her and decided to go defecate on.
He went boom boom.
And
Number 2.
And decided to go to the bathroom to clean himself up. But
what was Laurinaitis doing during this?
He was not stopping whatever
he, just kept
was
on
doing, and
ramming it in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Vince came back to the situation.
Yep.
And decided to finish what he was doing. While the smell and evidently it says in the article it was in her hair. It's so bad.
Vince McMahon, you are a piece of shit, literally.
Yes.
This right here sums up. It's just horrible. And there's another part of the story we found out about where he was using dildos on this woman and naming them after wrestlers.
Yes.
I would be curious to know what wrestlers he went with.
Yes.
What do y'all think?
The Rock had to be one.
Yeah.
You think? You think he would have went there?
Andre the Giant?
Yeah, Andre the Giant. I mean, the Repo Man. There's a
Nails.
Earthquake and Typhoon, dude.
Yep.
It's
the natural disaster.
I mean, there's.
I just can't. So
it's bad.
It was a $3 million thing that he allegedly agreed. Well, he agreed to pay her. He paid her $1 million and then stopped paying her. So I guess now she's like, well,
coming
you
out.
ain't paid me.
I'm gonna ruin everything about you. Which it goes. Vince.
That's what he gets, bro. I'm
Vince
sorry.
thinks, and evidently Vince thinks he's invincible and is untouchable by numerous situations that's come out.
What the most disturbing thing about all this? This happened a couple of years ago. Vince McMahon is almost 80. So this was 75-ish Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Shitting and doing all this weird stuff. They said that he was passing her off to like Brock Lesnar allegedly.
Yes, she was in 2021. She was used as a bargaining tool to get a ex-UFC champion,
I don't think it's Ken
former WWE champion
It's definitely
at SummerSlam 2021, and we all know who that is.
Yeah,
It's not CM Punk.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah.
So, fuck Vince McMahon. Let's just say that.
Yeah, what gets me is if Vince is doing this at 76, 75 years old, I mean, what was he doing 20, 30 years prior to this?
There's no talent.
Especially now, I'm curious to see what like some of the divas from back in the 90s.
Oh, they're all going to come out the woodwork now.
And who knew about what was going on?
John Laurinaitis did.
Yeah,
maybe Kevin Dunn, because Kevin Dunn just left too.
Yeah, exactly. It's awful weird timing of it. And then Cornette came out on his episode. He's had no clue of this whole escapade, and he spent a ton of time with Vince back in the day.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't know if he's trying to cover it, but he also says that he knows some people that like to do these kind of situations like that too. So it's not.
No, there's no way Jim Cornette would have not said this already. Jim Cornette's not with WWE anymore.
Yeah,
and doesn't hold back anything. So,
it's a mess. Literally, it's a mess. And evidently, Slim Jim has pulled their sponsorship after 20 plus years with the WWE, or suspended their sponsorship for the time being. And the timing of it, they just signed a $5 billion deal with Netflix. You got the Royal Rumble this weekend.
Wait a minute, they're Netflix for what?
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw is moving to Netflix.
WWE Raw now. They don't call it Monday Night Raw.
It's not going to be live anymore?
Yeah, it's going to be live, but on Netflix.
Maybe not anymore.
$400 million a year for a total of $5 billion. We're assuming that the network will eventually move over to Netflix as well.
Yeah, I think outside of the United States, I think most places is going to move. They're going to start moving the content over. But I think after the deal ends with Peacock, they'll
move it over and everything.
Yeah,
but who knows? Like I said, Slim Jim is backed off of their sponsorship. I mean, this is a mess for the WWE.
And The Rock joined TKO recently, the board of directors on TKO, and got the rights to the name The Rock.
Yeah.
So you think he knows about any of this?
I think that everyone knew that this was about to come out, and
that's why they signed The Rock on to save face a little bit.
Well, how's that going to save face?
Well, it gives the WWE someone else that's on the board of directors to kind of make sure that the WWE is protected and that the legacy of the WWE is protected.
Yeah. And because with the first time Vince resigned, Stephanie. With the whole deal, when the deal first started, Stephanie stepped down.
Yep.
And then came back. But then once Vince came back, Stephanie left again. So I'm curious to see if Stephanie comes back in some kind of way now that Vince is totally just gone. Because there's something that happened between them as well. I'm assuming.
The family.
I'm sure they knew about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they knew about every bit of it, especially if he's paying her that much money. Yeah. You don't think that she don't know about what's going on with that?
I mean, this has come out now that this is over $15 million that Vince has paid out in hush money to women to keep quiet from the company, from the WWE.
Yeah. Well,
he should have paid more.
Evidently, he missed out on two. And like I said, the WWE is $1 billion company, and it's. I mean, I'm not saying that Vince was right, but his arrogance got in the way so much that not paying $2 million to this girl is put the WWE as a company in jeopardy.
Yeah, he should have kept her happy.
Yeah,
and
she could sue the whole company.
content.
Yeah, I mean it's this could. And I'm sure the AEW and TNA is sitting off in the background just going, "Thank you, Vince."
TNA still a thing?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Wow.
TNA is now. It's not Impact anymore. It's TNA now.
Yep.
They went back to
Yeah, they went back to TNA now.
running out. But yeah, guys, let's get into the episode. I think we just shot an episode.
Woo!
Wrestlers in movies, and we're going to have to kind of power through these
Yep.
Yeah.
because we spent, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes on, but we had to speak on the Vince
Oh,
McMahon
you had to.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a huge. Just in sports in general, it's a huge topic.
No, for sure.
But man, when going through and making this list, there's a bunch of movies like in the '60s and all that kind of stuff that wrestlers were in and all that. I completely ignored all those.
I'm sure Lou Albano was in some.
Yeah, he's been in quite a few of them. But was he even a wrestler or was he a manager?
I never saw him wrestle. I always saw him just managing.
Yep.
And having rubber bands in his face.
Yeah.
all the
He was
time.
the original rubber band man.
Yeah, exactly. But the first real actor from wrestling that I remember would always be Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Old Thunder Lips.
Old Thunder Lips, and he got his start in acting in 1982 from Rocky III.
Yep.
Thunder Lips, the Ultimate Male, and there's a whole Vince McMahon story all in behind that one too, where Vince did not want him to go and shoot the movie, and
He wanted him to defecate on
pretty much. But it brought a huge light to the WWE because the movie was so popular, and Hulk got so huge from it. Then, we had WrestleMania. 2 years later, the first WrestleMania.
WrestleMania was either 83 or 84, yeah.
So I mean, it was just blew. It's
Yeah,
the whole actor wrestling thing. Then one that he shot in 1989, No Holds Bar.
Dookie. Again.
It was a terrible movie, but
Bringing
as a
back
kid,
Yeah.
it's just greatness.
Yeah.
You had Axe from Demolition in it. You had Howard Finkel, Stan Hansen, Gene, your buddy Mean Gene. was
Mean
in.
Gene, dude. Mean Gene acting debut, Chance. What do you think about that?
That dude's trash.
Still hard feelings.
I
over
could
Mean
spend 15 or 20 minutes trashing them, but we got a lot of movies, a lot of.
You should do
wrestlers.
that, though, in the future.
Yeah, I'll cut a promo on him.
Gene.
He
Can't
deserves it.
defend himself, R.I.P. Mean Gene.
In 1990, you had him in a little spot cameo in Gremlins 2 yelling at the Gremlins in the movie theater, and they just totally no-sold him.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
very
haven't
quick.
watched Gremlins 2 in so long.
Nobody watches Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. But then you had in 1991
Mm-hmm.
Suburban Commando come out,
Yep.
and
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd and The Undertaker's in that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was I think it's pretty much his only acting prowess out there at all is the Suburban Commando.
And what's funny is that was right after he debuted on WWE,
Yeah.
like a year after.
Is it a good movie? No. Of
course
Not.
I don't
And-
remember Suburban Commando much at all. I do remember somewhat Mr. Nanny, but not much.
Yeah.
Mr. Nanny's another one. Sorry, you said
Yeah, it's right after because this is when Hulk got into a lot of his movie making right here in between because you got 93 through pretty much 90. When did he go to WCW? 94. 94.
Yeah.
So Mr. Nanny was the last one he did under when he was still in the WWE. And
Brutus
then,
Beefcake is in that one.
yes,
getting a paycheck off Hogan, like always.
like always. But then you had the Thunder in Paradise movies that came out for him.
Yeah, I never saw them.
This is a common theme within these wrestlers in movies. You have these terrible, like almost straight to DVD or straight to VHS, just horrible action movies. Not even good. I mean, because they were just bad. Thunder in Paradise was all those. You had Santa with Muscles. It's a terrible
I
movie.
tried watching that. It came out on Blu-ray through
Mill Creek. Yeah, it's
and I
terrible.
couldn't even get through 20 minutes of it. It was horrible.
Like, here's one for you. In 1997, he put out a movie, Assault on Devil's Island.
Yeah, I never know.
I'm sure he won a Razzie Award for that one. I'm sure a lot of these guys got some Razzie Awards.
I don't know what's a Razzie Award.
It's like the opposite of the Oscars for
Worst movie. Okay,
worst
Gotcha.
movies and all that. I think it's the Razzies because Adam Sandler's.
Shout out to Raspberries.
Yeah, but then you had maybe not a masterpiece. Three Ninjas,
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah.
High Noon, and
That
Mega
was
Mountain.
That was a train wreck of a movie.
Train
First Three
The worst
Ninjas
one.
masterpiece.
Yeah,
First Three Ninjas top 10 favorite childhood flicks. That's another one we ought to do.
childhood
We did
flicks.
Favorite child? Well, we've already done that.
Yeah.
Movies we grew up on. Yeah.
Yeah, movies we grew up on.
Same kind of thing. But yeah, I couldn't even make it through all the. And it had Hogan. It had Jim Varney.
Yep.
But by that time, and that was the last movie Hogan was in.
Yeah. Other than some like trash movies and all that kind of stuff, it just straight to DVD. But one of the biggest wrestlers that's probably made it the biggest out of going from wrestling to the movie business is probably The Rock. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, you have to say The Rock's the most successful wrestler turned actor. I mean, Cena's, which we'll get to Cena later.
Yeah, Cena's he's getting more and more popular now, and Batista is getting more and more popular as an actor and everything. But the number of movies that The Rock has done, and I wouldn't say all of his are quality as well.
No, they're. The first one was Mummy Returns. Is that the first one?
Yeah, that's the first one he was in, and then he had the Scorpion King in 2002. My favorite from 2003 Rock movie is probably The Rundown with Stifler in it.
Oh yeah, Sean William Scott.
That's a fun one. Walking Tall is cool. Be Cool is pretty cool as well. And then The Other Guys is a great one.
Yeah.
And then he went on the Fast and Furious run, the disaster
Skyscraper,
San Andreas.
Yeah, all those.
He became.
I will say this. I was a fan of Snitch. I
do like Snitch. Yeah, okay, Snitch is a good one. I do like that one too. That had to be right there in that late 2000s.
Yeah, Snitch. I want to say Snitch was like 2011 or 12. I don't know for sure, but yeah. He got into a pocket where he was doing some okay action films, and now he's one of the highest paid actors. And I haven't even seen Black Adam. No. I heard it was awful.
They're doing a live action Moana. Moana it's probably his highest grossing thing is Moana. I mean that movie blew up, and now they're doing a live action version of it.
Oh really?
Yeah, and now he's coming back in. Do you think he'll make an appearance tonight at the Royal Rumble?
I hope not.
Yeah, tonight's in the Rumble.
Yep. But I think he'll show up. I don't know if he'll be in the Rumble, but I think he'll show up somehow.
Do you think we're going to have a Roman Reigns Rock match at Mania?
Unfortunately.
You think that's going to happen?
Yep, unfortunately.
I think
at Elimination Chamber, hopefully, but probably Mania.
I think so, too. It's not what I want to see, but I think that's because I think we're going to have at Mania, I think it's going to end up being Cody and CM Punk in a big feud.
Yep.
But I'm curious to see what happens with Rollins' belt, like you said, with him being hurt right now. What happens? That will be an interesting story. Or what's his name? Has what's his name ever cashed in his Money in the Bank?
Nope, still hasn't.
Okay, that could happen tonight.
It's going to be a fun watch.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. This will be the first Rumble I've watched in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to get to it live. But anyway, we'll move on to some other. Terry Funk has been around a while in some movies. He was in a movie. His first movie was Sylvester Stallone movie called Paradise Alley, lead up before Rocky and all that stuff. I'm sure he was a little henchman, beat 'em up guy in that one.
I never saw Paradise Alley.
And then,
I think I've seen this next one though.
Oh, well, you had Over the Top in 1987.
That's an awesome title.
It's a great title.
Yep.
And I didn't realize I didn't pay attention. I didn't know Scott Norton's in there in the background.
I was one of the other security guards.
Yeah.
And Mr. Cutler wants a word with you. That's epic when he fucking fights Stallone.
When you needed a tough guy for a role, you got Terry Funk in there because he was the same guy in Roadhouse as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't realize that he's in The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville.
I never saw that movie.
Yeah, I never saw he was in there either.
Yeah, and then I got some other big ones right here. Like you talked about Cena. He got his start in 2006 with the Marine. And now he's becoming one of the biggest actors in Hollywood now. He's pretty much quit wrestling full time to focus more on wrestling. I mean, on movies with his long flowing comb over hair.
He looks more and more like Ernest Jim Varney.
Yeah. The more he loses weight, loses his bulkness.
Yeah.
His jaw structure is very similar to.
They should have him redo an Ernest movie.
Dude,
just once.
I'm telling you,
one time.
I like Cena.
You can't redo Ernest without Ernest.
I like Cena in the comedy roles. Have you ever seen Blockers?
Mm-hmm.
Blockers is
say that when it's not on here. Blockers is fire.
Blockers is a sneaky good one with him in it. It's as a single dad.
I haven't watched Vacation Friends 1 and 2 that he's in.
Is that on Netflix?
Hulu, I think.
Hulu.
Yeah. But I've heard they're okay. I haven't watched them, but yeah, I would say, and of course you have Bumblebee, which I'm just not really into the Transformers movies.
I liked them in Daddy's Home too.
Oh, I loved him in Daddy's Home too. Yeah. It had Mark Wahlberg all worried.
Yeah. Technically, he's in the first one also, but right at the end.
See, I haven't seen the first one yet.
He's right at the end.
I liked seeing it. He wasn't in it long, but there's a movie called Sisters that's really funny with Amy Poehler and
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, and he plays like the drug dealer at the party.
Yes. He's all like tattooed up and everything.
Yeah, that was a funny role. It's not maybe 5-10 minute role, but that was good.
But another, like we just said, Batista has gotten huge into it now too, into the movie side. Which Knock at the Cabin from this past year is one of my favorites that he's put out.
No, that's my favorite performance from him.
He got his start in 2009. Was his first movie called Wrong Side of Town. I think it was a WWE Productions movie, which I did not list any of these the WWE Productions movie with like The Miz, Dolph Ziggler. Kennedy, I think, was in one of them. Moxley or Dean Ambrose was in a couple of them. I didn't mention that.
Randy Orton was, too.
Yeah, Randy Orton was in some of those. I mean, there's no point in talking about those because they're absolutely terrible.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, there's no wasting any time on it. But the first movie I really recall Batista being in was in The Man with the Iron Fist with... was it RZA from
Wu-Tang?
From Wu-Tang. Because they're all kung fu movie fans, and he produced that one and put it out. And he was the big muscle guy in that one. And then, of course, he plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, which blew him up more than anything, probably.
No, that's what took him to the next level.
Blade Runner 2049, he's got a short role in that, and he's solid in it. I think he's in the new Dune movies as well. But Knock at the Cabin, though, was sneaky good with how good his performance was in that. That showed how good of an actor he really is in that movie.
I agree.
Roddy Piper, I did not realize how many movies Roddy Piper was in.
The only two that I remember that are worth saying
anything.
Hell Comes to Frogtown and They Live, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Both of those are from 1988. Of course, They Live was with John Carpenter. But he did so many, like, straight-to-DVD movies that it is... He probably has the most movies on this list, but it's no point in going through every single one of those. Absolutely terrible. Andre the Giant was in The Princess Bride.
Anybody want a peanut? Yeah. That's the only movie I remember Andre being in.
Yeah, I don't recall. He says he was in Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, yeah,
I
never saw that.
But I don't recall. It's just probably a giant in the background. But Princess Bride is the one that always sticks out more than anything. And that was right there at the end of it for him, too.
Yeah.
And then you got Jesse Ventura. That was big in the movies. And being a governor of, Minnesota, I believe. He was in Predator. Probably his biggest movie was Predator.
Oh, for sure.
He gets destroyed. I always wanted the gun from him because Rambo, Predator, all that was huge when I was a kid. And playing in the woods with plastic guns, I wanted that huge Gatling gun that he had.
Hell yeah.
And then he was in The Running Man, another Schwarzenegger movie from 88, I believe. And he was also in No Holds Barred. And in Batman and Robin. He was just a background guy in Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle had quite a few movies as well. His first stop was in 2010 with Dylan Dog, Dead of Night, which was a cheesy, like, comedy horror movie. Did you ever see that one?
That sounds like an awful movie.
It was awful. The one movie that I remember him from is 2011 in Warrior with Tom Hardy.
That's the only one I remember him being in that I've seen.
He plays the main UFC or MMA fighter at the end, the champion guy. Absolute beast. And then he was in Pain and Gain with Mark Wahlberg and The Rock as well, which is fun.
That was another good rock
about
movie.
that movie.
That's a good rock movie. I like that one a lot. He's a freaking monster in that. His shoulders are like the size of all three of us put together in that movie. Definitely juicing. Were you fans of? Have you ever seen See No Evil with Kane?
I haven't.
It's good.
It's a cool little original horror movie.
Yeah, I like the which didn't make sense. They almost went 10 years between making the sequel for that one, because the second one was put out in 2014, where the first one was put out in 2005.
Yeah,
but I think they were WWE studios, but they were okay.
Yeah, they weren't bad slasher movies. Kane was wrestling full time that whole time.
Dude, yeah, he was doing. And then we got our boy Kevin Nash was in quite a few movies. He was in, of course, he was the Super Shredder in '91 for Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
He's in The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
He was in Magic Mike and John Wick. But have you ever seen him in a movie called Almighty Thor?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Neither have I. I looked up the trailer for it. Not a lot of people have seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't ever even heard of that.
And Scott and the other outsider, Scott Hall, was only in one movie his whole career, and I don't think anybody saw it. Snake Eater 3.
Absolutely.
His Law.
Saw that.
His Law from 1992.
Yeah, I definitely never saw that movie.
No.
I don't know if that's one I want to see.
No. But yeah, it's just other guys. You got Goldberg that was in The Longest Yard. You got wasn't Stone Cold was in The Longest Yard.
Yeah, Stone Cold.
There was a lot
for a
of
minute. Stone Cold
Great
was doing
Khali.
a bunch.
Yeah, Great Khali. Yeah, Great Khali was in.
Stone Cold was doing a bunch of movies back then.
He's a good actor too, I think.
Yeah, I like The Condemned and Expendables, but he did a bunch of those.
The action movies.
The action movies straight to DVD that are not good, where he plays like the disgruntled cop coming into a town and mess up with the biker gang. Same with Randy Orton with his 12 rounds and The Condemned.
That's what I think. That's one of the 12 rounds. I liked the first 12 rounds with Cena.
Yeah,
but I think Moxley was in the third one.
Yeah,
or something. But I remember Big Show. The only thing I remember Big Show. I mean, obviously he was in Jingle All the Way for a minute, but I remember him as Captain Insano.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, in The Waterboy.
Yeah.
And it you can't forget about Santa Slay with Goldberg in it. It's terrible. Terrible movie. There was talk about doing a sequel to that one. It got for some reason one of these boutique labels put out Santa Slay on Blu-ray and like a fancy slipcover and all that kind of stuff, and it sold out immediately.
Jeez, man.
I got that DVD of it. But you got DDP was in The Devil's Rejects.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He played was it Ken Forier's brother in that one? The chicken farmers.
Yep.
Were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh,
was Nash not in that?
I don't think Nash was in.
It was just DDP. Okay.
It was just DDP.
Okay.
No, I didn't have.
It would have said it if it was. Yeah.
But you had Buff Bagwell in a movie called Lethal Ladies: Return to Savage Beach. Now we have seen the first Savage Beach.
Yeah, Buff Bagwell's in the sequel.
He's in the sequel
ridiculous.
And Day of the Warrior, he plays a Native American in an action movie with a mohawk in that one.
Oh my God,
dude, Buff. And what's great about Buff Bagwell that he's going to be on the new season of Dark Side of the Ring as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. We've still got to do a deep dive into each season.
We didn't even mention that in the movies.
What's that?
In the TV shows.
No,
Yep.
we didn't add that in the TV shows.
There's as many as we talked about. There was a lot we didn't even talk about.
Oh yeah, there's a
shout out to that one though.
Yeah, shout out to it. But I'm really looking forward because I think there is a Vince McMahon episode on this Dark Side of the Ring as well season. I think we got 15. What they say, 15 episodes coming out this season.
Oh, they only normally do 10. I'm here for that.
Yep.
I think that's what they had on there.
I need to rewatch the last season.
We
ought to do episodes of each season. Like let's talk Dark Side of the Ring season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so in for that
because I've watched them all multiple times. Lawler, I remember being in obviously Man on the Moon, but it's funny you have Life with Mikey listed. I used to love that movie as a kid, but I can't remember much about it now. With Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
And he like the agent or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
and I think is not Jeff Jarrett in that one too.
Yeah, it says it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because these other ones are really not even.
Yeah, it is.
If you really want to torture yourself, watch The Chaperone with Triple H in it.
Oh,
really?
God. That's one I never watched.
I never watched
Knucklehead, which it was terrible with Big Show back in the day.
Ooh,
But when I
that's
was
rough.
full in on WWE stuff, I was buying the movies, the releases and stuff too, and they were all terrible, bro.
Triple H is not an actor.
No,
when he was in
bro.
Blade Trinity as well, holding the little Pomeranian around the whole time, it's like it's so forced for him. He just didn't. It didn't gel well for him at all. Over making that transition over. That's what I guess that's the case with a lot of it, because with wrestling they are acting, but they're. I mean, you're going through physical shit too with it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think it'd be a whole lot easier of a transition, making it going over from wrestling to acting, but.
Yep.
I've never been an actor. I can barely sit in front of a camera and record an hour-long podcast. It's a struggle for me just to do that. I can imagine just sitting in front of a camera and all day long and reading the same line over and over again, trying to make it look fancy. Because I'm far from fancy. Shout out Ruben McIntyre. But one movie the ultimate wrestling movie of all time has to be Ready to Rumble, right?
Oh yeah, all the other ones are not even worth. I mean, they're not even. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had so many. You had the whole pretty much WCW roster in that movie.
Yeah, because that was the end of WCW days. It was right around 2000s when it came out, and WCW ended in March of 2001, I think.
Yeah.
So it was right there towards the end. But that was still a solid movie, man. A solid like comedy.
Even though they put the legit belt on David Arquette after for the movie and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, well that's just because WCW was
They were dead in the water and like putting. And then come to find out, David Arquette gets into wrestling 10, 15 years
and
later.
almost dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From doing death matches and stuff.
Yeah, it was part of that one dude's episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh yeah.
But that's really the only one I remember out of all these you got listed. I don't think I saw any of these other ones. I mean,
I remember Antonio Inoki being in Bad News Bears Go to Japan, because I was always a Bad News Bears fan growing up. All those movies, the first one, then they go to Houston, and then they go over to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
These other ones, I just marked it down. Dusty Rhodes was in a movie in 1982 called Gold Raiders.
Oh, there's no telling how bad that is.
Never heard of it before. That's the only reason why I wrote that down.
Go to a pay window, baby.
I mean,
you took it to a pay window, Gold Raider.
I wonder if he's wearing that full-on mink coat.
Oh, he should.
Probably.
He should have worn that everywhere he went.
That story
No matter what
behind
the
that
weather.
whole coat about DDP. Did you see that clip about DDP having that coat and then
that was awesome.
giving it to Cody?
Yeah.
A movie called Body Slam from 1986 had Ric Flair and Captain Lou Albano.
I think I'm going to check this one out.
Is that the one that Coco Beware did like a song to? There was like a soundtrack, a Body Slam soundtrack.
I have no clue. Highlander, a movie, the little time traveler sword fighting show or movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a show too, but I didn't realize Michael P.S. Hayes and Terry Gordy were in the movie, and Rikishi and Samu were in it.
God, they just rated WCW's talent at the time.
Yeah,
Huh?
I had no clue about that one.
I'm still looking, looking.
And then Kimberly Page made an appearance in Beverly Hills Cop 2 and in The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kimberly Page was mighty fine back in the day. But yeah, some other ones I wrote. Vader made his film debut in a movie called Fist of the North Star in 1995. Yeah, you can see where this is all going. Edge was in Highlander Endgame in 2000. Go figure. No.
Oh, Edge.
Yeah. You still looking?
Yeah, I'm the worst fact checker that there ever was.
Should have had the
There
iPad
is
for
a soundtrack. Body Slam soundtrack, 1986, released in 1987.
Yeah, I was trying to see if Coco Beware was on there.
He's got a song. Coco Beware.
He's got
had
one
a song.
called Pile Driver.
That's
Pile
what
Driver.
that was the one I was thinking of.
Pile Driver.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking. That's my fault. But there was a soundtrack
to
the movie Body Slam. Yep. But my bad. Pile Driver was the Coco Beware song I was talking about.
I'm gonna have to look that movie up now since
shout out to
since
Brandon
Ric
E,
Flair's in it.
Yep.
Hell of a cast in that one. But yeah, that's most of these movies. There's not really many great movies out there with wrestlers in them.
No.
You can honestly say.
And you would think that there would be because they act. and they're believable at what they do, but for some reason it just don't translate.
No, and like I
people
said,
would rather see him wrestling.
Yeah,
I think.
And that's what's crazy to me, how The Rock is the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
It's just because he's so charismatic, man.
Yeah.
He's not a great actor.
No,
he's not. None of them are. None of the wrestlers are great actors.
I think Batista has done the best.
To me, Batista is probably.
And I can't believe I'm even saying that because he's not the best acting guy in the wrestling game.
No.
But he ended up turning into a solid-ass actor, man.
Yeah.
He really did. So,
do you think we'll ever see him back in the ring at any time?
I don't want to say. I mean, I don't watch wrestling anymore. I'll probably watch Royal Rumble, just the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll have no clue what's going on, because I haven't watched wrestling. But I may watch it because we've got to do a Royal Rumble episode in February. We've got to do the 2023 movie countdown 2 months late.
Hey, it's there. We're going to get it done.
And we've got a couple of other ones figured out, but we'll have the DJ back on. We'll have the Viz back on in February.
Yeah, we may have to do like a two-parter for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's going to be a long one.
Just talking about like our favorite Royal, and then maybe doing like a.
Oh, we'll have to do like we did SummerSlam.
Yeah.
We'll have to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think
we should do 87 to a certain time, and then you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
We'll have to because
it'll just flow so much better. And
that's my favorite pay-per-view is Royal Rumble.
Yeah, exactly.
This season is my favorite season in wrestling from January till after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's like the best.
It's like the new season of the show starts. Well, especially right after WrestleMania is when everything gets almost a refresh and going into the new year and all that kind of stuff. But I'm with you. This is the most, as a wrestling fan, the most exciting time of the year. I'm looking forward to watching the Royal. I'm with you. I'm probably just going to watch the Royal Rumble match tonight, but I'm looking forward to. I need to start watching more because it seems like the show itself is getting better.
Yeah.
Have you been watching more?
I've been watching
stuff?
Raw a lot. I don't really watch SmackDown or anything else or no AEW, but WWE I watch Raw, and it's a little bit better. You still get those 2 or 3 like matches in there that nobody cares about,
and see, I've always been a proponent. I think when the 3-hour segment, the 3-hour show is too much, in my opinion. 2 hours is perfect.
Yep.
Because you don't have so much dead space in there.
Are they doing 2 hours again or 3?
It's still 3.
It's still 3.
It's still 3. And is SmackDown 3 hours too, or is it 2 hours?
I think it's 2. I think it comes on from like 7 Central to 9 Central.
Now, with this whole new Netflix deal and all that, SmackDown is moving to USA Network, though, right?
I believe so.
And then I think NXT is moving to the CW.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
There's going to be a dead spot between when the USA deal runs out with Raw and where Netflix picks it up. There's going to be like a 3 or 4 month dead spot. They're supposed to announce what's going to happen with that. It may come on to Peacock or something for a while. I don't know what they're going to do.
I didn't know anything about that.
Yep.
They're not going to break that streak, though.
No, they can't break it. Yeah.
But it's not going to be the longest running episodic television show anymore once they move to streaming.
This is very true as well.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think will catch it eventually?
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't have anything that would be able to. It'll probably still always be the longest running.
Yeah.
It just won't be able to keep running.
Yep.
Adding to that.
And that's what I'm curious about with this whole Netflix deal is Netflix going over to the live
format.
That's
it's going to be the same thing than when you watch like Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Yeah, this is true.
The same way, like, or if you watch sports on Paramount, they're all doing it now. So I get it. It just makes sense that Netflix finally did it. It's crazy they were one of the last ones to switch over.
Yeah,
but I haven't ran into any issues when I've watched live programming on the other apps. So I'm sure Netflix will.
Oh, and they're gonna have like they're gonna have the top notch crew out there for it all. It's gonna be really, really interesting to see because that takes place January 2025 or 26.
25.
So they got a year to prepare for this and everything. So it's going to be game changing. But who knows where the WWE will be in 6 months, rather not even a year after everything that's gone on this past week.
Shit's getting deep, dude.
Literally. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, the WWE, as we remember, it could be over with, or I mean,
there's no McMahons in WWE right now.
that is wild. There's no McMahons in wrestling at all right now. I mean, it's crazy. I think if anybody comes back, Stephanie will be back. But it's interesting to see.
I love y'all, man.
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody.
Kind of a hectic episode on this one.
Yeah, but y'all be sure to subscribe.
A lot going on.
To tap in.
It's more of a
podcast.
More of a news episode this week than anything.
Yeah. Shout out to the sponsors: Trouble Spirits, Revolution One Media, and the Natural Disasters with Jimmy Hart.
Yes, from here on out, and we out this motherfucker. Bow. Hoo-doo.